Okay, folks, welcome back. Back to the Western Desert. All right, well, what we got happening over here? We've got this Africa Core SDK of Z251 that just, it looks phenomenal. It's really, I am most impressed with how this turned out. Now, if I could just find the frickin' wheels, they'll turn up soon enough. You know, I do everything other than the wheels, and, you know, it'll still be there, you know. That the sand people went and stole them and walked off with them. When these guys find the sand people, they're probably not going to be really nice to them. Anyhow, I think that's far enough away. I don't have to. The crooked spider is not visible on this thing. The crooked coconut. That's what I should call it. The crooked coconut. So the palm tree with a crooked spider on it is the crooked coconut. Anyhow, yeah. Just just really impressed with how it looks. So much I want to redo this one. The Panzer One. It still has the gray base, you know, and it still has the the only thing it doesn't have it doesn't have any lighter colors on it, so it's just be a matter of just dry brushing some other colors on it and moving on with it, and doing the black lining, the panel lining on it. So, anyhow, unfortunately, it looks really similar to the Italian one. It's not quite exactly the same color, but that's okay. I mean, you know, that way you can tell who's on what side. But the British are going to come in a couple of different flavors. This is the lighter color of the British, the Portland Stone. And that's what we're going to work on today, is we're going to get this little universal carrier up to speed. So we went and did the counter scheme with the counter colors. So we use these. I used the base color of the Portland Stone, which I did not like, on the A13. And it just sprayed. It was really yellowy, like a lemon, almost not yellow, but lemony, and it sprayed like silly string. So I read that you needed to cut these things down with either water or their own thinner. So I bought their own thinner, and 50-50, and it worked no problem. You know, the only problem is that I can't just add 2 drops right out of this, right? I've got to like thin it. So maybe when I'm halfway done with it, I can fill the rest of it with thinner, and you know. But anyhow, it's not a problem. However, the next step I'm going to do with these things, I suspect, will work better than the MiG ammo, because I've got to paint over. I've got to overpaint or do like a wet dry brush over those same colors. So I don't think it's gonna. I think this is gonna work better for that. All right, so that's what we're gonna go with. And I decided to fool around with my Africa Core figures here that I had from Airfix, which I've got, I don't know, a squad's worth, except I don't have any MP40 guys. So we'll have to get some MP40 guys, a couple guys for an MP40. But these are actually decent figures, as the Desert Rats are decent figures. So we'll probably paint one of these and just see how they turn out. Now, I suspect that I like the British vehicles better than the Africa Core vehicles, but I like the Africa Core infantry better than the British infantry. And the reason why I like the Africa Core, the British desert vehicles better than the Africa Core is they're zanier camouflage, right? More personality and stuff like that. Better armor markings for the British units. The British units have better armor markings than the Germans in the desert. However, the Africa Core uniforms have the whole faded appearance. So I probably could get, you know, I have multiple of these riflemen. I could probably get 4 of these riflemen and paint them 4 different ways, and you know they would look okay. So, anyhow, to be continued. We're not going to mess with that right now. We want to get this little guy up to speed. And we'll see how we do that depending on how many of you guys come in. Maybe depending on how many who's celebrating what happened yesterday, or who's in mourning for what happened yesterday, or as most people don't really care. Life will go on. Although I did stay up too late watching the results, stay up till about 11, which is way past my bedtime. So if we can't, see if we can't stay awake for this. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the sloppiest one first, which is the Portland sand color. And it's going to be kind of a wet, dry brush, so I can probably use this right here. And I'm always surprised why people in the rest of the world even care what happens here in our elections. I know they follow it, but like, who cares, like, I don't know what happens in the elections in France, and I don't care. I don't really care what happens in elections here, but, let's put a little bit of this stuff down here. I have this guy that I know that doesn't watch this channel. He says he doesn't watch this. I think he says he doesn't watch this channel. Because, it's just, I don't have the patience for it. Okay, well, fine. But, went to a convention with this person who's been in videos. Yeah. And, I don't know how we got on this subject, but he's like, I don't talk about religion or politics with anybody. And I'm like, I bet we can talk about it. And we talked about both of them. And guess what? Not a problem. This whole thing that you can't talk people with politics. No, you can't talk, and really, you can't talk with people about anything. People that are unreasonable or people that are on a crusade. So, I don't talk about politics because I don't like any of them. I don't trust any of them. They're full of shit. All of them. We just need to get close to this edge. The funny thing is the tape method didn't work. I used a piece of painter's tape, and I wasn't going to go buy an expensive Tamiya set or something like that. That worked just fine. And it ended up peeling the paint underneath. Even though it was not super sticky, it still ended up peeling the one underneath. So then I just ended up using a piece of cardboard and masking it off. And it worked great. Yeah, it's hard to have discussions with anybody about anything if they're on a crusade. And this slate color, the dark one, looks really good. The other one that's kind of a light green is kind of weird. But I bet by the time we're done with this, I'm going to be really happy with what this looks like. Because I'm going to fix it until I'm happy with it. A low-flying aircraft today. Oh, hold on a second. Pablo Font Aguilo, welcome. Welcome to the Western Desert. My first attempt at doing counter. My first and not last. Anyway, so the masking technique, I feel like I'm growing in leaps and bounds with the airbrush. Even though I've got a lot more to go. I'm not really worried about it because, people can say, oh, you're not very good with that airbrush. Well, I'm a lot better with a paintbrush than that person said that I wasn't good with the airbrush. So, you know, one thing that's worked really well with the airbrush is sometimes I just feel like I feel like airbrushing something. So you just go and you airbrush something, and I'm not airbrushing anything that you end up not using the paintbrush on. So you get to use both. Sometimes you just feel like being, I don't know, creative in a way. And I pretty much don't have a jam problem with the airbrush every time I use it. I've crested that hill, or if I do, I can fix it pretty easy. So I'm almost ready to do a dummy's guide to airbrushing, but you know, like I said about making videos that aren't what I'm doing, I want to do what I'm doing here. Making videos are fun, but I don't want to, like, you know, do ones that are, you know, that are for a specific purpose, because then I have this idea, and it's just human nature that, you know, I want so and so many people to watch it, or I want it to, you know, this have this, and then when you don't reach those make believe type of metrics, you're kind of disappointed. Whereas if nobody watches what I'm doing here, I have to do this anyways, you know. And I mean, we can talk about anything you want. We can bring up, hey, what kind of airbrush? We can talk about whatever subject you want, you know, within reason. You know, we could talk about that while we're doing this. I just don't like to specifically, you know, do something like, you know, I don't like taking requests on like a show. Like, do a show about this. Like, we could do whatever you want as we're doing this, but you know, like a special show for it, it's a lot of work to go and edit the video and all that kind of stuff. And like I said, then you got this idea that you should reach some kind of metric, and you know, I'm constantly disappointed by people. I'll be like, oh, well, you couldn't watch this video that was 40 seconds long. You know, there's people that are just, you know, just attention deficit syndrome, or you know, whatever, or they're trying to multitask too many things, and even I'm notorious for it. I'll be like, I don't want to watch a video on that, but I love like unboxing videos. But my excuse is I'm making content, so I don't have time to watch other people's videos. That's my excuse. So we're just going to put, this is just the base color here of desert sand, which is the Portland stone color equivalent from M-Omeg, not AK, M-Omeg. And I don't know if this color was supposed to be on the bottom of it here, but we're going to go ahead and paint all of this. And they already had this color on it before, but it's got a brown wash on it, on top of it. And we're just putting the base color on. We may lighten this up a little bit. But right now, we just want just the base color on here. Okay? So that's Portland stone all around. All right, then we'll go to the next lightest one, which is, I've never brush painted this stuff before, so we're about to see silver gray, number 28. Let's go ahead and rinse this. I don't want to rinse it on that. That's like supplemental water. Pablo, where are you from? Pablo Font Aguilo. Italian? Maybe Portuguese? Are we related? Similar last names? I guess if you go far back enough, we're all related, right? I'm just going to use a little bit. I have a feeling this is going to be able to go a really long way. And do I want to use a smaller brush than that one? Maybe. Maybe this one. Because none of the running gear underneath has this stuff here. Spain, my people. Islas Baleares. Okay. It's very late there. I've never been. We're supposed to go early next year. We'll see if it happens. Although I already made a prediction. My wife doesn't want me to hear, doesn't want me to say it, but I already predicted that there's going to be another COVID scare next year and screw us out of going to Europe yet again. But my daughter's supposed to be doing a semester in Sevilla. So, man, we've been trying to go to the motherland for decades, and I've never been to Europe. It's just too far away. It takes too many vacation days just to get there. "1:38 in the morning, and it is not even 8 p.m. Well, all my paint is Spanish. Right? AK is from Logroño. I don't know where Logroño is. Must be a suburb of. I feel like that's a suburb of Barcelona. I could be wrong. This soft tone is normally Quick Army Painter. Comes from Denmark, but this one is somewhere in Spain. It doesn't say where. And the Ammo Mig is... Where's Ammo Mig from? Navarra. And of course, Vallejo is Barcelona. French Spain. Marcus, welcome. I made it on, I did. I'm making it here with everybody who's either didn't watch the election results, or they're done celebrating, or they're done crying. Now they're probably not done crying, or agnostic. I made it to about 11 o'clock, and I'm like, yeah, I've watched it as long as I'm gonna watch it. Okay. So we did that, and we're going to come over here to this back corner here. I thought you said you weren't going to make it on here, Marcus. Man, you got to be a politician, making things up. So yeah, I'm going to attempt. I don't want any more figures until I paint some of the ones I have. Just like I got a solution for that Matilda problem I have, but I'm not going to ask him to make any more stuff for me until I put a dent on the things I have. I feel like I'm getting pulled, and I feel like Stretch Armstrong a little bit. So even though I was surfing a lot of figures while I was in between the commercials last night. Although I don't know if I'd call them commercials. But I actually identified somebody that was selling some on eBay. They were really cheap, but I didn't buy them. You know, with the advent of the internet, I'm more likely to not buy stuff than before, because you can like get the thrill of seeing what it looks like in the package without buying it. Like somebody does an unboxing, or they show you the contents of the sprues or something like that. Because the box art isn't accurate lots of times. As a matter of fact, I didn't even catch that the box art for the Pack 36 wasn't accurate at all from Zvezda, because it showed a crew with winter gear. And like, the crew's not winter gear. The crew is just regular temperate zone. Like, you know, they're going to go Barbarossing. Instead of going trick or treating, they go barbarossing. So, all right, now we're going to do the same thing with the slate. We're just going to put the main colors back on here. You're painting myself, and I figured I would check. Well, you get automatic notifications if you've got me on. If you click that bell, as some people say on the video, make sure you click that bell. I have one friend of mine who always seems to put his foot in his mouth on just about everything he says. And he's like, I can't subscribe to your channel. I'm recently retired and I can't afford it. I'm like, you just don't freaking get it. Not yet awake. Painting Yankees Iron Brigade, Civil War. Really? What are you guys interested in that over there? I'm not interested in American Civil War. Actually, if I had to pick an American-centric war game, you know, I'm not talking about World War II where there's Americans. I'm talking about like an American-centric war game, like, you know, AWI, War of 1812, American Civil War, the Cowboys and Indians. You know what I'm talking about? The Custer stuff, natives, any of that kind of stuff. Well, obviously it would be conquistadors, but that's not really American. But I would probably do AWI, to be honest with you. That's probably the one that's would interest me the most. But then I've said before, one of the main reasons that a lot of people in the United States are interested in the American Civil War is because they know someone, one of their ancestors fought on one side, or they have an ancestor on both sides. So there's that tie-in, you know, where I don't get that. You know, I have none of that. I mean, my ancestors came to Cuba in the late 1800s from Spain. So in the American Civil War, we're out eating, we're doing the siesta and picking olives in Iberia. I always said, you know, I'm supposed to go to Spain early next year, and I'm like, there's a reason, there's got to be a reason why my ancestors left the Iberian Peninsula, and I might just find it. I might just find the reason why, if I get to go, because you know, there's always that. Ooh, this is nice. So these paints paint pretty well. They're a little bit more watered down than Vallejo, but not much. Sorry, Vallejo. We got somebody that speaks Spanish on board. I gotta say it correctly. What's that Vallejo paint you use? Vallejo, coño. But when I first was introduced to wargaming, that's what they like. They like to play this. The folks at the hobby store, you like to play this game called Johnny Reb, and you know, in the late '80s, and in the late 1980s when they were playing that, and I just never cared for the American Civil War at all, and you know, my dad didn't either. My dad was like, "How is everybody in this country so interested in the American Civil War?" My dad was really into the Spanish-American War, because you know, it was right there front and center when he was, you know, he was born in Cuba, so that was the thing he was interested in. I wasn't interested in that. World War II is my jam. All right, now we got a little bit of depth there. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take. Let's see how we want to proceed with this. I don't want to introduce other colors that are. Let's take the darkest one, this one, and add a little bit of dark sand to hit the highlights. Sorry for your English. That's okay. You grew up on a Civil War battlefield, huh? Small battle, part of the Wilderness Campaign, Battle of Cloyd's Mountain. We're going to add a little bit of this dark sand. I know it's a different manufacturer. I think we'll be okay. I think we'll be all right. Just make sure we don't get crazy here. Becomes too light. I think we're all right. Just touch these little rivets. See, I don't know where the sand people ran off and took these tires to, but they'll turn up. They'll turn up or not. It's practice for doing the Africa core color. There's a little bit over here. Oh, how's New York been? How was New York this morning? Like protests and stuff there? Probably. That'd be one of those places where they protest. People like me are too busy working to be protesting about something. But I'm not at work. I just want to come here and be left alone. Just leave me alone. Just a tiny little bit. I'm not sure that I'm going to like this. I'm going to see what happens here. No, we're okay with that. Well, a little bit of sun bleached. My daughter is at her college. Her Figure 251 did have rubber tires that came off. So you're missing those? Yeah, I took them off myself to airbrush them, and then I'd misplaced them. So my daughter actually lives on campus in St. Petersburg and decided to not spend the night on campus before she even knew what was going to happen. Just figured those people are just going to be, come unglued no matter what. They're either going to be, the students, they don't know how to behave, So she went and one of her roommates stayed at their condo, their parents' condo that's over in that area, spent the night over there. Okay, I think we got all those spots on there. So I think what we need to do now is to kind of get the full effect, to see if we're happy with how this is we're going to go ahead and do the black lining on it. I am painting a universal carrier. I am. I am from Rapham in 20 millimeter, which isn't really a scale, but I guess it's close to 1/72. And let's get Nuln Oil. We're going to stop at your islands, Palma de Mallorca, when we were going to take that cruise a couple years ago, but we had to cancel. Actually, what happened? They canceled the Mediterranean cruise. That's right. The ship that was going to go on decided, oh, we're not going to do that time. So that was the year we went to Canada instead. So you guys just didn't want us back. You don't want my people back. You don't see it very well. Let me take a photograph. Take a photograph of these two things. How about that? I'm not smart enough to zoom that in on the. I don't know how to do that. I'm a painter, not a video person. Oh, I gotta be careful. We're gonna have to edit that and take the crooked coconut. So I decided the crooked coconut. That's the palm tree with the. Well, that's not a good picture of the colors here of the counter. Here we go. Let's do this. All right, here's the universal carrier, which it's kind of a crude model. And that's using the Africa colors here from. Do I have them laying around here? No, they're from AK. They come from the set, AFV set. I must have left the box outside in the garage, and I have it already. I already have an edited photo here with the SDKFZ. Has a little dot over the. It's kind of. You know, a lot of these colors, the light affects them tremendously. Here it is. This is a good photograph. And it's pretty easy to do. It just, lots of steps. All the best painters are from Spain. One of my favorite painters is from Spain. Not one of mine. I mean, they don't paint stuff for me, but they inspire me. So, okay. My least favorite painter is from Spain, though. Picasso. Que pendejo. When I went to New York, we didn't have enough time to go there, Marcus, but my daughter, who's also artsy, like I am, we wanted to go to the MoMA and just like laugh at shit. And there's probably some stuff at MoMA I like, but there's a lot of things that are just like, that's just not, no. That just doesn't take any effort. Not a Picasso fan. Not a Picasso fan. Because as somebody who paints, I can look at something and tell you that it took some effort to do it, right? So it might not be like my style or maybe my subject matter, but I appreciate that it takes effort. Like there's like a lot of that Renaissance still art. I don't really like Renaissance still art. Even by still art, I mean a table with like a bowl of fruit. Like okay, but I mean it's well done and with the shading and all that kind of stuff. Shadows and all that stuff. I can appreciate that stuff. They didn't do that in like an hour. Like it took some effort, especially considering they probably used really bad brushes. But I'm always of the opinion you should do things the best you can do them. Just do things the best you can. My analogy with Picasso is that, and Picasso was actually a good artist, but he decided not to paint that way. Well, it's like saying, I can make it to the bathroom. But you know what? Just to be different, I'm going to shit my pants right here. Ta-da! It's like, no, you could have done better, man. Then do better. Oh, well. I actually would rather drive on the wrong side of the road like they do in England than have a Picasso artwork in my house. It's actually not even close. But I do this to stay engaged, and maybe I'll inspire other people to work on their hobby too. You know, this is my therapy session. So I just finished a book on Audible. It's available in paperback as well and hardback, whatever. It's called, and it was okay. It wasn't great. I'm glad I didn't buy the actual physical copy of it. It's called Spearhead by, I don't remember what the guy's first name is, but his last name is Makos, Makos. Must be Greek descended. And it's basically like a biography of a couple of guys, in particular one guy that was a gunner on a Pershing in February 1945. It's not a book I'd read a second time. But the reason I wanted to bring it up is it's not bad. But at the beginning of the book, it uses, and I've read a lot of World War II stuff, it uses this terminology that I had never heard anyone use in a World War II book, in a World War II setting. And I'm thinking it's probably the author that's not a World War II junkie. Sometimes you hear stuff that's like, it's just really, really weird. Just like strikes you the wrong way. Like you're listening to, there's a book on, I can't remember if it was narrated by him. I think it was. The Killing series by Bill O'Reilly, which a lot of them are really good. I've read, I don't know, 4 or 5 of them now. And I've enjoyed all of them. I enjoyed the Reagan and the Kennedy ones the most. But the Killing the Rising Sun and the Killing Patton as well. And the Killing Patton one, I believe he narrates it. And he said something, he was talking about artillery pieces, and he was saying something about the 155 mm gun. And I'm like, nobody would call it that. I mean, that's a 155 millimeter. You don't literally, if you don't know that it's 155 mm, if you call it that, then you don't know what the hell you're talking about. But that's a pundit for you. And he also says The support weapon in the American squad, he calls it a bar. Never been called that. You know, it's always BAR. End of story, right? So this particular book, Spearhead, has another one of those snafus. Okay, and you can tell me if I'm off my rocker and I just haven't read enough things, but I had never, ever, ever heard American soldiers referred to as doughs. Like doughboys. Yeah, they were called doughboys in World War One, right? But not in World War Two. In World War Two, they were never called doughboys or doughs. So throughout this book, a smattering, you know, it could be a drinking game. Every time you take a drink every time he says dough. You'd be all over. I mean, you'd die of alcohol poisoning. And it just like really rubbed me the wrong way. I've never heard of U.S. GIs being referred to as doughs, ever. I'm going to bed. Thank you very much. I like the color combination. Okay. Hope to see you soon, man. Que duermas bien. Que duermas bien. Now, I just have very limited Spanish vocabulary because I only speak it with my parents. So I have no schooling in it. So my vocabulary is like a 10-year-old. I have like a good night, mom type of vocabulary. I can pronounce it. I just, Anyhow, never heard U.S. GIs in the Second World War referred to as doughs. D-O-U-G-S. D-O-U-G-H-S. Never. Anyhow. And maybe the author doesn't know anything about World War II. He's just a person who likes to write shit. Well, I know about things. I have an interest in them. I just don't like to write shit. Anyways, the book's okay. You know, so now I went back to the MacArthur book about him landing in the Philippines, which is really cool because there's so much stuff there I just don't know. There's all kinds of information I just didn't know. Like, I didn't know that the first kamikaze attacks were done against escort carriers in the Philippine invasion. And like, it talks about it. Again, if I mention something and it's wrong, well, I just read it in the book. I didn't bother counter-checking it. But it said that, like, the Japanese lost, like, 3,000 pilots in kamikaze attacks, which I honestly thought was kind of low. Because I think I got that right. Anyways, they did a lot more damage than their own casualties. You know, even if only 1 in 100 crashed on a ship, you know, that's 100 guys that die. If they crash and kill 100 people, they break even, right? If you're looking at it from that standpoint, if they kill 200 people, it's 2 for 1. So even though they have miss, drop, you know, they never make it to the plane, never make it to the ship, one guy hits and creates a, you know, a firestorm of, you know, whatever. Now they're destroying all those planes in the process, so maybe your economy can't catch up with that, can't keep up with that. But pilot-wise, you know, the kamikazes killed more people than the kamikazes that got killed. I don't know if I elaborated that correctly, but I didn't know that, you know. So one of the first attacks that they did was against a bunch of escort carriers, where several of them got knocked out of the war, including one called the St. Lo, which I thought was really strange to have. Now, that particular set of escort carriers was all named after battles, and I thought it was really strange that they would name a battle St. Lo that would have happened in mid-1944 for a ship that was damaged in late 44. Like, that's, like, too soon, right? Like, dude, this just happened, you know, like, pick something earlier, you know? But, yeah. So learning lots of stuff. About, the Pacific Theater, yeah, I have cursory knowledge. I have more than cursory knowledge. But still, if, I don't have that kind of background of reading many things of that period. I really haven't read anything at all. I mean, it's all kinds of stuff being left open, so. looking forward to that. But we're gonna finish that, and then we'll do this. Then we'll do this Western Desert book that I started, but I actually have it in hard copy. It's just there's so much juicy bits in it. Marcus, are you new to the Pacific Theater as well, or? You know, I know more than most people, but most wargamers, no. Because I've never really gamed the Pacific Theater. I mean, we've done some naval engagements in Guadalcanal and ABDA stuff, things like that. But like land combat, I haven't done any land combat in the Pacific, other than one game of the Two Fat Lardies game, Chain of Command. But I didn't design the scenario, so you know. What else is missing? I feel like I need to put a black line in between the division of these colors. Let's drop one and see what that looks like. I like that. I like that. Remember, we're looking for a graphic novel type of look. I read a bit, but never gamed. Never gamed the Pacific. Okay, well, you're not alone. We'll come with the other color and clean that up a little bit. I like having that hard edge there to kind of. And I'm probably going to dry brush over this, so I probably have to put this line again, but I just kind of want to see what it looks like. See if that's the direction that I want to go in. I feel like it's really necessary between the two lighter colors. Sorry, was trying to get some crazy glue to set. Yeah, that's a challenge in and of itself. I don't really like the stuff. I don't really like super glue. Now, one that I got that takes a little more time to adjust, it's better. All your great uncles fought in Europe. So that was your interest growing up. Now I'm interested in every aspect of World War II, even pre-1939 history in Africa, Europe, and Asia. There's only that one company, though, that makes Chinese figures, though, right? And those guys are, I'm pretty sure those are nationalist figures. So if you want to get Mao's boys, you got to do something different. Mouse boys. You fuck up now. Mao here now. I'm think I like that. I think I like that. Let's look at it at distance. Caesar, yes. Yeah, they're the only ones that. Now, before I go and clean a bunch of stuff up, let's go ahead and paint the tracks on this, and then we can give this a sand overbrush and see if we're happy with that. You have some early war British FAA and SHQ miniatures that I've never painted. The tip broke off an SHQ figure with a boy's anti-tank rifle. Yeah, the SHQ is like really to scale, almost like, you know, these guys. But obviously bendy plastic is a lot more durable than brittle white metal. Okay, so let's go ahead and paint the Traken. Das Traken. German camouflage black brown. For all of your metallic needs. So I was looking at my buy list. I like looking at things and not buying things, but I'm gonna need a 2-pounder. But I'm gonna need a 2-pounder with a desert crew, and this Zvezda does not have a desert crew. So I have a feeling I'm probably gonna have to source that out of white metal. And it's a shame because the Zvezda guys seem like they fit in there pretty well. But they're wearing full pants and long sleeve shirts. I think both of those are a deal breaker for the desert. I could see having, you know, shorts or something, or short sleeves, or, you know. But being fully covered in a wool uniform, that's not a good idea of a good time. Not my idea there. Yeah, you haven't seen too many of those. I'm gonna say Zvezda. Daughter just got home, gotta cook some dinner. We'll catch you later. Get some sleep. Well, not right now, but I will. It's still early. Yeah, I want to see what this looks like. And I do need to find those tires, and I don't want to do it while you guys are online. I'd be off camera. You hear this scrummaging around sound. Rummaging around. Rummaging and scrummaging. I should have an unboxing tomorrow. What's it gonna be? I don't know. You guys should know if you pay attention to the channel. Okay, and we're gonna go around to the front. That's a late dinner, man. 8? And this time change. And it's even darker up there. It's even darker up north. Alright, we're gonna need to let that dry. Now, I'm gonna go grab the Matilda, because the Matilda is done not exactly the same color, but a similar type color, and it's completely done. Like, I'm happy with what it looks like. But of course, it's been, weathered and dry brush treatment done to it and so forth. So we're going to go ahead and also paint the tires black. Tires, Tyres. I'm going to assume there's a little bit of a rim on those. Universal carrier for sale. No, I don't need one. I'm good. I think it's just the middle ones. I don't think that the one in the front has it either. we're going to need this little guy right here. Probably going to have to wait till the weekend to actually do a deep search for that half track, for the wheels on the half track, tires on the half track. It's a crude little model, but I guess it'll just have to work. And of course, that's got to dry too. So we're going to keep Gorgon out here. Aftercore vehicles are significantly darker looking. None of yous, huh? No? I guess we could shut down for the night if there's nobody here. That's going to take a little bit of time to dry. Yeah, we could. Tell you what, I'm going to take a picture of this Panzer 1. And I've already put the. It has. I'm pretty sure it has ochre. The green ochre on top of it as an overbrush color. I'm going to go ahead and just add the sand to it now. The dark sand. We want really, 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 really light. let's pull the turret off. Jeez, why is this so tight a fit? There we go. We gotta do something while we're waiting for that to dry. So let's come over here and put some of this dark sand down. And let's grab it. This thing should behave well. Get almost all of that off. And we'll still start at the running gear. Looks a lot better than it was before. And I'm fine with there being a little bit of variances in them. Now we're going to go ahead and do the black lions, Panzer 1. Let me check one thing. Still nobody on here. I wonder if I got disconnected. Oh well. How we doing on this being dry? I actually like the black lighting part a lot. Let's take a look at this universal carrier now. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to take this dark sand color, which is wet. That doesn't work really well with dry brushing. This dark sand is fairly yellow as it is. And if you use something that's less yellow than this, what you end up getting is it looking like it's white. So it almost looks like you're getting ready for something it looks like from the winter time. So you got to be careful and not make it too pale, or you're not going to get what you think you're going to get. Could swindle yourself. Self-swindling. Now we gotta go really careful with this. light even on? Let's see. Why am I having such trouble with this? There we go. We need to do it from this. Continue. It says I'm alive. I'm alive. It says I'm alive. It says I'm live. Okay, well, might just be a slow night. Pale Sand is the name of the game here. Okay, well, we gotta figure out how we're gonna decal this thing. So we're gonna go ahead and stop for the night. All right, folks.